Hello, I'm Courtney Badger with Arlington County Planning Division. This presentation is going to discuss Block Plan B that was submitted in conjunction with the 101 12th Street Site Plan Project. If you want to view the plans, learn more about the site plan project, as well as submit comments, questions, and feedback, please visit the URL shown at the screen below. This is the outline that we're going to be following for the presentation today. We're going to spend most of our time discussing the sector plan guidance for Block B and the deviations that JBG is proposing. We'll also touch on next steps, how you can submit your comments and questions, and what the process is going to be going forward. So the purpose of a block plan is to ensure that Crystal City develops in a manner consistent with the sector plan, and that future planned improvements are not precluded by the proposed site plan project. We also want to ensure that the infrastructure is maintained during the course of redevelopment. So here are some frequently asked questions about block plans. Feel free to pause and read through all the information. I'm going to touch on the main points. So a block plan is something that is unique to Crystal City area. It is a long-range planning document that looks not only at the buildings but also at land use mix, tower coverage, open space, etc. A block plan is required in certain circumstances. So if you are doing a site plan project in Crystal City that is east of Richmond Highway and is requesting a rezoning to CO Crystal City, then you're required to submit a block plan as well. A block plan is finalized concurrently with a site plan project. So it'll go to Planning Commission in the County Board at the same time as the site plan project that it's associated with. And if the County Board adopts the block plan, it is then finalized and taken as supplemental guidance to the Crystal City Sector Plan. A block plan differs from a site plan in that it looks holistically at the block as a whole. This block plan is a little bit unique in that there is a large overlap between the block plan and the site plan. So this block plan that we're going to be looking at today is Block B, and it is located in the Northeast Gateway section of Crystal City. It's east of Richmond Highway and Long Bridge Drive, and north of 12th Street where it terminates and becomes Crystal Drive, and south of 10th Street. Looking at the existing conditions for the site, there's an existing office building on the western portion of the block, and I'm going to circle that in red now. That office building was approved in 1985 by the County Board and contains eight stories of office space and 4 levels of underground parking. The eastern portion of the site is currently a passive open space that is owned by JBG. There are currently no permanent structures on the site. There is a sidewalk loop and trees and benches there, but there is no public access easement. JBG is proposing to construct a 9-story office building on the eastern portion of the site. That eastern portion is identified in the Crystal City Sector Plan as a new development site. The western portion of the site, designated by Building A in the left picture, is remaining largely untouched throughout the process. Both these images give you an idea of what JBG is proposing in a plan view. So diving into the sector plan guidance, the next slides are going to show a series of images from the sector plan, and at the end we're going to go in depth on the deviations that JBG is proposing. So starting with the image on the left, we're going to talk about the build to lines. Block B is identified by the blue rectangular shape here in the image, and the sector plan recommends build to lines that front along all the street edges that come in contact with the 2 building lots in the block. The sector plan also recommends that the street in between the 2 buildings be 80 feet in width. Moving on to the street network and typology map on the right, you can see that the sector plan identifies the new 10th Street connection as a new proposed road, and it's classified as an urban center local proposed in the sector plan. So again, starting on the left with the tower coverage map, The sector plan calls for the western portion of the map to have a maximum tower coverage of 75% and an eastern portion that bumps up to 85%. These maximums allow for more light and air penetration into the block. And then moving to the right image, the sector plan calls for a land use mix for each block, and for block B, they're calling for a 40% residential or hotel mix. So that means that 40% of the uses on the block should be either residential or hotel. So the sector plan also outlines building heights, which are codified in the zoning ordinance. So the eastern portion of the lot that's being redeveloped has a maximum building height of 110 feet. Something to keep in mind is that that does not include mechanical equipment. So you can have mechanical equipment that extends 23 feet beyond that 110-foot building height. The public open space map that you can see on the right identifies two public open spaces on this block. The first one is on the corner of Longbridge Drive and 12th Street, and the second one is Gateway Park, which is just east of the new development site. So moving on to the base density map, on the left, the sector plan calls for this block to have a base density of 1.5 FAR. So what that means is that a project can come in with a 1.5 floor area ratio and not have to provide community benefits to earn additional density. The site plan project associated with this block plan is coming in at a 2.5 FAR, so there will be a community benefits package associated with the site plan. On the right image, you can see that the eastern facade of the east building is called to be an architectural feature. So these are some examples of architectural features in the sector plan. They range from different facade materials to corner treatments, and architectural features are meant to be given a little bit of leeway to create a unique, cool design. So moving on to some transportation related maps, the right image shows you where service and loading docks should be located. And the sector plan recommends that for the eastern portion of the lot, the part that's being redeveloped, that the loading bays be located off of that new 10th Street connection that's going from 10th Street to 12th Street. And that is where the applicant is proposing that their loading be located. So additionally, the sector plan has guidance for sidewalk widths on this block. The yellow that you can see goes from 10th Street and that new connector street is called to be 15 to 18 feet. And then the Longbridge Drive sidewalk down 12th Street is called to be 18 feet to 22 feet. So the next three slides have this chart that identifies different items called out in the sector plan and whether the applicant is proposing a deviation to those items. So I'm not going to go over each one, but I will let you kind of look through them and give you enough time to pause and look at them further if you want. So here's the second chart, and this is the end of the chart. So starting off with the first deviation, the sector plan calls for this new roadway between the two buildings, the 10th Street connector, to be 80 feet in width. The applicant is proposing to have it narrower, about 65 feet. So that is a deviation that they are proposing. A second deviation is a deviation to the land use mix. The plan calls for a minimum of 40% residential or hotel to be located on this block, and the applicant is proposing that it is 100% commercial, about 99% office and 1% retail. Then the last deviation that's being proposed is to the open space on Longbridge Drive and 12th Street. That's the number one that you can see here for North Gateway Plaza. The sector plan calls for this to be an open space with a path, benches, and possibly other park elements such as a water element or attractive feature. right now the applicant does not include that in their block plan, so it's being shown as a deviation. So moving on to the public process timeline, we are opening our first community engagement that will go until July 8th. And then we will begin our second community engagement between July 27th and August 2nd to then have a virtual SPRC meeting, Planning Commission, and County Board meeting in the fall. So we would love to hear your feedback, comments, any questions that you have. You can provide those to us by visiting the project page, or you can reach out to the contacts below. The comment period will be open from July 1st to July 8th, but you can feel free to reach out to any one of us anytime. My information is there, along with our Planning Commissioner, Chair, and Co-Chair for this project, and our GES Planner. Thank you.